With coverage you can count on, this is the Erie News NOWCAST.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ethan Kibbe filling in for Elspeth Meisner. You're watching the Erie News Now Weekend NOWCAST. And we begin this afternoon with the latest vaccination data from the state coming into our newsroom just moments ago. As of today, Pennsylvania has more than 2.3 million fully vaccinated residents. And about 36% of eligible Pennsylvanians, that's more than a third, now have at least one dose of a two-dose vaccine. More news from the state on the vaccination front. Pennsylvania ranking 20th in terms of percentage of population vaccinated among the 50 states. We are slowly climbing the ranks there. And as of today, Pennsylvania reported about 4,900 new cases of the coronavirus. Case totals and hospitalizations are both slowly rising throughout the Commonwealth as it experiences another surge in cases. Back to local news. A wildfire in Warren County is only about 30% contained today after more than 2 days of firefighting. The U.S. Forestry Service says an hour of rain yesterday did significantly help the firefighting efforts, but some property might be at risk. They've built control lines, but if the fire jumps those lines, then they might have to evacuate some homes, and some homes and camps could be in danger. The fire still largely out of control. It started in Kitty Ute around 12:30 Thursday. Then it spread to the Allegheny National Forest, and it's been burning ever since. Hundreds of volunteer firefighters, the DCNR Bureau of Forests, and the U.S. Forest Service are all working together trying to contain the fire. They're using airdrops, they're using crews on the ground trying to put the flames out. So far unsuccessful, and they still don't know what caused the fire.
Had significant moisture and low temperatures overnight, and that really helped us get ahead of the fire. If things continue the way they are right now, our plan for the weekend would probably be focused on mop up, and that's when we go into the interior of the fire and make sure all of the smokes are out and the fire is completely extinguished in the interior.
Hoping to get that fire put out soon. In the meantime, foresters are asking everybody, please don't burn anything. They say wait a few weeks until we're into the middle of May when things are decidedly greener, or at least wait until we've had several soaking rains. Things are very dry right now. Don't burn. That's how fires like this get started. More news. Speaking of fires, a man is believed to have set fire to a homeless camp in downtown Erie Friday. And people who are homeless say it's a prime example of why they need more help. Police believe a man who is homeless started the fire at West 14th Street behind Union Station. We talked to a woman living nearby, and she says that she and people like her just need help. She's fighting an addiction, and at the moment she has no choice but to sleep on the street.
I started to get clean about 6 months ago, maybe a little longer. You lose track of time. It's led me to homelessness. I've lost everything. I've bought houses. I've had great jobs. I've had carried briefcases, had business cards. You know, I've had it all. My addiction took me down.
If you know somebody who needs help who's fighting an addiction, there are resources available in Erie County, including Gadenzia, Erie, and the Mercy Center for Women. We have information about them on our website, erienewsnow.com. Let's take you out to Warren County now, as we're hearing reports that small-town pharmacies are frustrated with the amount of vaccine doses they're getting. Gaughan's drugstore in Warren says at the start of the pandemic, when vaccines became available, it was only getting about 100 doses of the vaccine every other week. Sometimes they'd get no doses. Now, they have been scaled up a little bit. They're consistently receiving about 200 doses every week, but they say that's not enough, and they could be doing a whole lot more. The owner says he hates that some residents have to travel far distances just to get the shot rather than get it at their local drugstore.
We've had people that we've called and said, you know, hey, we can get you on our list now. And they've said, well, we were worried we weren't going to get it. So we drove all the way to Williamsport. We drove all the way to Pittsburgh to get it. And, you know, these people can barely, you know, leave their house to go to the grocery store or go to the pharmacy. And then they're getting in the car to drive hours away twice to get a vaccine.
Speaking of the more rural vaccination efforts, AHN St. Vincent hosted a rural vaccination clinic today in Union City, vaccinating about 200 people out there at the Methodist Church. We'll have details of that coming up tonight on Erie News Now at 6. Let's stick with vaccine news, as Pfizer wants to ask the FDA to allow it to use vaccines in children ages 12 to 15. It says it formally filed a request with the FDA last night, and the vaccine already has emergency use approval for ages 16 and over. They want to drop that down another 4 years. Pfizer says it wants to make the vaccine available to those kids before the start of the next school year, and it plans to file similar requests with authorities around the world in the coming days. Meantime, there are some new concerns about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Some people have been getting dizzy after getting it. The CDC says it is aware of a few incidents, but it says probably nothing to worry about, and it's not blaming them on any particular vaccine. The bigger concern, perhaps, is that supply of the J&J vaccine in the U.S. could drop sharply over the coming weeks because of some batches that had to be thrown out, and that could lead to some canceled vaccination appointments. We end today with some good news. Imagine you're an employer. Would you hire workers who have criminal backgrounds, who have dropped out of school, or who are homeless? One local businessman does. In fact, he often looks for them.
From the moment Scotty Freeman opened Fat Lennies in 2017, he wanted it to be different, more relaxed, more fun.
No, I mean, that looks incredible. That is a work of art.
And he wanted to help the community by giving jobs to anyone who wanted to work, regardless of their resumes.
I guess I just don't exclude anybody. And I want people to know that people can, don't not look for a job because you've had a record, or you didn't go finish college, or you got kicked out of college, or don't know what you want to do.
Those relaxed hiring standards have paid dividends for Freeman. He looked at candidates other people wouldn't. College dropouts, someone who was homeless, a single mother. And he's found great employees by doing it.
People like Colin Steves, an unemployed college dropout who had $15 to his name when he showed up for an interview.
He doesn't care if I went to college or not. He's like, do you have a high school, diploma? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, do you want to put some, because I had flip-flops on at the time. He's like, you want to put on some proper shoes and come back at 4 o'clock? And I was like, okay.
So when Freeman offered Steves a job, he took it, and over the next 3 years worked his way up to manager.
I think Colin's been just spectacular on that level, as far as, coming in and starting at the very bottom and working his way up, and to the point where I probably expect too much out of him for his age.
Now, the former student who other employers fired is in charge of workers himself. He says so many people just need a chance, and anyone can make a good employee.
There's really no difference in training someone that has, is fresh out of college or is fresh out of high school or dropped out of high school. There's seriously no difference. People are all the same amount of stupid at the end of the day in various areas.
Freeman says that's his secret. Hire good people, then care about them and let them grow.
If you've ever worked anywhere, then you know that the people that work around you become family. It's, they're my friends. They become my friends.
A little proof that if you choose to see the whole person and look beyond someone's past, the payoff can be pretty sweet. Ethan Kibbe, Erie News Now.
That does it for our Erie News Now Weekend Nowcast. Make sure to tune in to Erie News Now at 6 o'clock tonight. Lisa Adams and Isaac Petcash bring you up to speed on all the day's news, and we'll see you then. Until then, though, have a great day.